Welcome to Football with Cheese. So last night we saw the Indiana Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes and win the national championship. Who would have had that 2 years ago? Indiana going 16-0. God, they play 16 games at the playoff and winning the national championship. Absolutely incredible. Cinderella story. We will get into that. But first, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss one of my videos. I mainly focus on NFL on this channel, but I'm a huge college football fan. There's a big focus on the NFL draft, so I watch college football a ton. And me and Mike, a buddy on the Lights Out podcast, every Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So tonight, link in the description. We always talk college football. We also talk baseball and, of course, NFL. So make sure you check us out tonight. Now, Indiana, if you did not know, has been one of the worst Power 4, Power 5, when it was 5, teams really ever. They typically are the team, if you want to schedule someone in the Big Ten, that's who you want to schedule, Rutgers or Indiana, because you're probably going to win. This is the team at Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State would always put as their homecoming game if you had them at home. We're going to make Indiana our homecoming game. And someone who loves college football, like I do, I worried that when you had NIL and when you had the transfer portal, that only teams like Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, those teams, they get all the good players. That's where all the players would transfer to. And I worried that teams like a Stanford, Wake Forest, Vandy, who had a very good year, Indiana, teams like that, they would be winning 3-4 games every year because all their players would be plucked. If you are a 3-star recruit and you play like a 5-star recruit at Indiana or Stanford or Vandy, one of those places, I worried that the player would just transfer to Georgia and Ohio State, places like that. But the opposite has happened with Indiana. The first thing they did was they got Curt Cignetti. Great coach. That was the best thing they could possibly have done. It's incredible what he did at JMU. He's just won everywhere he's gone. By the way, he used to be an assistant. I think he was a wide receivers coach and recruiting coordinator for Nick Saban, Alabama, when Saban first took that job. So he learned from the best. But this is incredible. They made the college football playoff. Nobody even thought they'd be close. They lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame was a better team back then. And then this year, even returning a lot of their players and getting an upgraded quarterback, Fernando Mendoza transferred from Cal, still, almost nobody had them even in the playoff. I almost picked them to make the playoff. I actually had them out. I am just missing. But almost no one had them in the playoff again. And they beat Ohio State. They beat Oregon twice. Dominated Oregon the second time. And won the national championship last night. Before I get into the game, I'm going to throw some stats at you. Mike's going to love this, my co-host in Lights Out Podcast. Once again, link in the description. He loves stats. Indiana has won 6 bowl games ever. 3 in the last 3 weeks. They had won 3 bowl games in 1979, 1988, and 1991. Were the only bowl games they won before this January. Crazy. Indiana's game-winning interception came from Jamari Sharp. He is the nephew of Glenn Sharp, whose controversial pass interference penalty lost Miami its last national championship game. Wow. Fernando Mendoza is from Miami. He grew up less than 3 miles away from the stadium. His mom went to school there. But he was a 2-star recruit, and they only offered him a walk-on position. So he didn't go to Miami. Just crazy. But Indiana had 7 4-star recruits, 0-5, according to this guy on X. There's over 100 players on the roster. So if your team is not getting 4- and 5-star recruits every year, don't worry about it, especially with the transfer portal. And Indiana took advantage of it. I guess the one knock on it is they have a lot of players that are 24, 25 years old, but that's not their fault. That's the rules. I do think college football needs to fix it. I hope me and Mike have time coming up to do a whole special on all the problems with college football because they need to fix it. Because I love college football so much. I love the NFL draft, but there's just a lot of problems. But we're going to keep it positive. I got more stats. Fernando Mendoza becomes the 10th Heisman Trophy quarterback ever to also win the national championship. Only 10 have ever done that. Last person to do it was Joe Burrow in 2019 for LSU. In fact, there was a huge gap. A Notre Dame player did it in 1947, so right after World War II, and then it didn't happen again until 1993. Charlie Ward, Florida State. Yes, the New York Knicks basketball player. He is famous for deciding not to play football and play NBA instead. He was a much better football player than NBA player. Maybe he didn't like getting hit in the head. I get it. Okay, another Mendoza stat. He threw 40 touchdowns, never lost a game, never lost a fumble, and won the title. No one has ever done that in FBS, FCS, or even the NFL the entire season. Just incredibly efficient player. Indiana did not lose a fumble over its last 1,047 snaps in 15 straight games. The last time they lost a fumble was their first quarter of their opener. That's incredible. This is just probably the most well-coached team I've ever seen. Every time they needed a big play, Indiana knew exactly what to dial up, either on offense or defense. And that block punt was huge. We'll get into that in a second. But Indiana, their season just felt like NC2A. When I used to play it, like NC2A 2004, 2005, that's back when I was playing it. It felt like that team. You have a 3-9 record, and then 2 years later, because you just recruit, it's a video game, you end up winning the national championship. It felt like a video game this season. Pretty incredible. Miami, let's talk about them. Their 3 losses this year all came on Carson Beck's interceptions when they had a chance to go win the game. They lost by 3 to SMU, 3 to Louisville, 6 to Indiana. And Carson Beck choked, like he always does. That's why he lost his job in Georgia. They didn't think he could win a national championship with him. So Gunnar Stockton beat him out. That's why he transferred. Indiana had the better quarterback. That's why they won. We'll get into that in a second as well. Mark Fletcher, did you see him throw a punch into the game? This is a problem. This is Miami's culture. It was cleaned up a little bit, but it feels like under Cristobal, they're right back to it. They're thugs. I remember when I was a kid, they were the college that had the most arrests by far. They were just a bunch of thugs, and they looked like it in this game. Hitting Mendoza late should have been called absolutely awful. It just felt like, to me, the refs knew Indiana would probably win, but they made sure to keep it close. Just felt like the refs favored Miami a little bit. They wanted to make sure that Miami covered the spread, and they did, but Indiana still won. The big play was that punt return. And they only rushed like 4 or 5 guys, but one of the guys standing in front of the punter looked like a tight end. He kind of just let the Indiana player go. It's almost like he thought the punt had already happened. That was really the play of the game. It changed everything. They don't block that punt, who knows what would have happened. I think this game was played pretty even. You can't say Indiana was a lot better than Miami. Absolutely not. I think it was pretty close. But that punt return was absolutely huge. Special teams win championships. Someone might want to tell Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers that. Just saying. The Big Ten has won 3 straight titles with 3 different schools. That is so impressive. It's being talked about, probably not enough. Because not only you have to win the title, 2 of which in the college football playoff, 4 straight games for Ohio State last year, 3 straight for Indiana, but you have to do it with 3 different schools. And Oregon made the Final Four. No pressure, Dan Lanning, but it'd be pretty cool if Oregon did win it next year. 4 straight schools from the same conference. Now, Mendoza, let's just talk about him. It was not his best game. He was under pressure a ton. This is what Miami had to do. Their only chance to win the game was get Mendoza out of his rhythm, and they did. He was pressured a lot. He was hit a lot. He was sacked. He is an in-rhythm passer. He is so efficient. He gets rid of the ball on time. He has so much poise. He's just an incredible player. The way to beat him is to get him out of rhythm, and they did. But he still didn't turn the ball over. No fumble, no interception. And he had one of the best quarterback sneaks you'll ever see. He was bouncing off Miami defenders. That 4th and 5 where he got the touchdown, it was such an incredible play. That will be shown for years and years and years. And if you go back and watch Miami Notre Dame, because that was such a fun game right at the beginning of the year, Notre Dame did the same thing and got a touchdown on the exact same play. And Indiana's coaches are incredible. Cignetti, the entire staff, they saw that play. They did their homework. In all 3 of their playoff games, Indiana outcoached Alabama, Oregon, and Miami. And that is why they're national championships. So comment down below. What do you think of the college football season? Anything about college do you think we need to fix? What do you think about Indiana? Can they run it back next year? Let me know. If you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Once again, Me and Mike tonight, Lights Out Podcast, link in the description. We'll talk a lot about this game. We're going to talk about NFL coaching changes and MLB free agency, so make sure you check it out. Share this with anyone who loves football. I cover college football, NFL, and big focus on the draft, like I said, on this channel. If you have not, check this video out, and I'll see you in the next one.